So, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And I'm pretty fucking pumped to be here again. As always, more often, I think often, I'm quite like, okay, I'm happy to do this, but it's nothing like I'm so fucking excited for it. But today I think it's totally something great for me again, which is totally great, and you should never ever do something you absolutely hate, especially in terms of work, because you're working like 60 or 70% of your fucking life. And then this might be a little bit fucked if you do really, work on something you actually don't like. But yeah, one problem, and as you can now see in the background, this is actually the book that I discussed yesterday, and I started with discussing it yesterday. The problem with it is that actually the audio is broken on this episode. I did just really realize it just before I recorded this episode to actually see what I've been speaking about in the last episode, because I never ever notice, because I'm doing so much things, so much things, and they're kind of just, I'm not getting overwhelmed, but I'm just, and again the same problem as yesterday. I'm sorry if it's very, very loud right now, but I do just have to make sure that this is working. This is then really one of the problems with not actually post-producing all the episodes and just actually recording them and immediately just uploading them, that you actually can't cut out such sections as right now, where I do just not speak anything, but rather just try to let everything work again. Try to really fix this one again. Now it's working. I hope it's not too. I should be okay. But yeah, so therefore I will just go through the same exact shit as yesterday, because I don't know. The problem is I don't even know if I should actually just delete the other episode or yeah, I think I'll have to delete it. Because there's no just really sense behind actually recording it again and just putting the same shit again up without actually just doing something about the other thing. But yeah, but I will go through this one a little bit faster than yesterday. Yesterday, the problem with it is yesterday was quite a different mood. Yesterday I wasn't another person, but I just acted differently. I was in a different mood. I was just, I don't know, it is just something different every single time I'm recording something, even though it might be the exact same shit that I'm talking about. But yeah, why don't you work? Do I have to? I hope not. But yeah, so we're going to talk about This Is Where to Start, from Edward Drews, which is basically a book about mentorship and how to get a mentor and why actually nobody wants to be your mentor, and so on and so on. So there's definitely a lot in it. I quite liked it yesterday. I found like there were some aspects in it that were quite new to me. A lot of the things he talks about in the book are actually kind of the things you always just hear and always just kind of read about, which is the normal kind of mindset shit, which is a little bit boring. At the time I just think like, okay, I've read the same shit over and over again, but I do have to say that it could be something pretty valuable for those people who actually just do not have the greatest mindset, who do just have problems with their mindset, that they actually read it every single time in every fucking book they will read. Not quite every fucking book, but just a lot of books are nowadays quite about the mindset of doing something or whatever. But yeah, we will go on with the book in 3 sentences. The first one is, or number 1 is, no one wants to be your mentor, which is basically the thing that I kind of spoiled just before, which is totally true. You do just have to imagine that somebody comes up, especially, or, most of the time it would be definitely some kind of a young person, and this person comes up to you, and you're just a really not famous but really successful person in what you're doing, and so on and so on. And then this person comes up to you and asks if you could actually mentor him or her. The problem is there, what do you get from it? It's just a lot of time, you give away your secrets, and you just pretty much put these people on, or you could. The problem is, what will you get from it? Maybe you're doing it like, okay, I will get just the prestige and, for my legacy and or for my karma. This is great. Totally great if you just have this kind of mindset. But I think most of the people will be like, okay, what do I get from it? But there's also an answer at my point of view, which would be like, okay, you teach these people, and if they are earning the money, you're just not kind of promising them, but you're kind of learning them to do. And then you tell them, okay, when the time comes where you do just have a lot of money, or you just able to generate your own money, I would like to have a part of your business. This could even just be working. This could actually be a great idea. Or you'd be like, okay, you give without expectation, give them, and eventually they will come to you, after they've actually just really been benefiting from what you have told them, and then they will just give you something off of their shit, because you're the person who is actually responsible for them having this kind of achievement. The second one is, stop looking for something you love and instead follow something you're curious about. The exact same thing that I was telling you yesterday was, I'm not quite sure about this one. I do understand it, that you should not do some things that you love all the time, because the problem is, chances are pretty great that you won't love it anymore if you're just doing it, the whole day long, every day long, which is totally something that I think makes sense. If I would actually be doing, I don't know. The problem with me is that I do just have to diversify what I'm doing. I wouldn't actually like to just sit down every single day, the whole day long, and record episodes or do something for my social media things, I guess. I'm not sure, I haven't done it yet, but I think I will just, kind of go away and drift away and just do something else without actually knowing it, which is something that I do have to just deal with quite. This is actually something that I'm not good at. I'm not good at actually not being focused on certain things, but actually just being like, just really, straight working for a longer period than 2 to 3 hours. Well, it depends on what I'm working at, because when it's something that's really, really fucking exciting, I will just work on it until I'm just kind of finished. Most of the time, I just will work on it until I'm kind of finished, or I'm finished. But I think most often I do just end it somewhere when you just, the energy, you just see, okay, goes down a little bit, and also your kind of willingness to do some things. I actually lost my fucking point there. What did I want to say? So I do understand his point, and going for something that you're curious about, but I do just have to say and think about, okay, if you're doing something you love, you can be very, very sure that you will like it for a period of time. I don't know how long, and how long it will just be like this, but the thing is, you will start with something you pretty much like, and then you will see. And if you're just doing something you're curious about, and after, 2 months or 3 months, you kind of, think like, okay, this is something boring, or this is something that you can't actually do because you're not as talented as if it would be just intelligent or good for you to work on this. In terms of actually not being able to be the best in the market, without having to just, invest 50 years of your fucking life, which is, if you're in terms of, going into business or whatever you're doing, that's not kind of, always easy, or like you just, do not want to synthesize your aging process and just put yourself into such a bad position, on purpose. But yeah, never mind. So ask yourself, how can I make this person more successful at what they do? This is one of the questions and one of the points that I just really, really like about this book. This book is most of the time, or just a really big part of it, I think, is actually about questions and questions you can ask yourself and questions that are actually great as well. At my point of view, something that I've been speaking about quite often, questions are great. Why? Because through questions you really understand yourself a little bit better, my point of view, and you do just see other things that you might haven't seen without actually asking yourself. And you just understand yourself better, if I haven't said it just before. Because this is actually the thing that happens to me, or happened to me today. With being just really honest, my day today wasn't that good, to be honest. It was kind of not, it was quite productive. I did a lot of things because, I had to do just a lot of things for school, in terms of designing and also in terms of actually learning maths, which is totally something I hate. The problem is I don't hate it, I don't hate it, but I'm not good at it. And when I'm not good at things, that I start hating them in the process. And that then I just throw around things and make things or destroy things and whatever. And this is just not good, especially when you're just fucking with your fucking floor. Actually make it dirty with the whole pen fluid that's in the pen and never get it away, from there on. But I hope this will somewhere. But the problem is, then I ask myself, what is different today that's not making me happy, or that makes me not happy as on all the other days? And then I've seen, okay, maybe it's because I haven't spent any fucking time with any person on this planet on that day. This could be a possibility. The problem is, then I'm asking myself, okay, why do I just not, some kind of have any time with another person today? If there's something else that is different today than on the other days, and so on and so on. And this is just the thing. You can really just see, okay, there's something going on and there's something that's kind of missing, and then ask yourself again, okay, why is that missing, or why is this so important for me? And what can you do about it, and so on and so on and so on. So in my point of view, questions are something very important and very useful for you to just do, even though it sounds so fucking strange and so fucking dumb to just say, ask yourself questions and so on. It's not like nobody knows what questions are. But the 5 big ideas, I actually was telling you, okay, I will just go through it a little bit faster than yesterday, actually a lot slower. The 5 big ideas. No one wants to be your mentor, have been talking about this. One must face the reality that attracting a mentor is a long and patient process, but it's imperative to develop skills and reputation to create such an opportunity. Totally, it's definitely an opportunity. It's definitely not something that all the people will have and all the people have. So if you do have the possibility of having a mentor that you actually just admire, I think, in my point of view, if it is actually a person that wants to kind of teach you something, it should really be somebody you are just really kind of excited about, that this kind of people or this certain person is just teaching you. Not like, okay, I just, get something taught by some guy, I just met him, he just seems to be very nice, I don't know if he's actually good at what he's doing. Shouldn't be the case. I kind of think like, okay, if you're working for him, maybe for free, if you're just, learning something from him, it should totally be a person you kind of look up to. I'm not saying that you should immediately go to Bill Gates and ask him if he wants to be your mentor. I think he won't, it always depends on who you are, but the chances are not that big, but just try it anyways. But the thing is, having it on such a maybe a lower level, and then just getting a step up and a step up and a step up until you are actually at the mentor maybe that you actually wanted to have in the very beginning, but you do just have to some kind of progress. Maybe. Yeah. And the third thing is stop looking for something you love, and this is actually something I've been talking about. The fourth thing is a key mindset you need to take on is that you are filling a very real void. Your mindset needs to be that you are adding to the party, And also another point that I absolutely love about this book is that he talks about giving and giving and giving and giving, and maybe at the end I just haven't read the whole thing. I've just been going through a part of it in the last episode, but I think maybe some later in the book or in the book summary he will be talking about actually getting something or just taking something. But most often he just talks about certain things that I really believe in, like giving to the people what they want. And even though they sound so obvious, and maybe they just sound so obvious for me because I have been in the space for quite a time right now, but maybe it's not for you. So I will totally point out whatever I'm kind of thinking about. But yeah. And the fifth and last one is ask yourself, how can I make this person more successful and at what they do? And this is actually also one of the questions that I've been talking about that I absolutely love because they make sense. If you are able to just change a lot of people, help a lot of people, provide a solution for a problem of somebody, they will totally buy your shit. If it's actually working and if you're some kind of trustworthy, I think they will buy from you. And this is where to start. Actually, funny introduction, the summary itself. So no one wants to be your mentor. Been speaking about this one. As a general rule, the word mentor is to be left alone and only used in retrospect when you need a convenient label to sum up the relationship you had. I actually do not know by now what this actually means. The same exact thing in the episode from yesterday, but I will just go on and yeah. Then we have 3 points here. I will just try to play a little bit with the camera settings or the settings to actually show you things so that the episode might be a little bit more interesting. I'm trying to just, kind of level up my production value and production quality maybe. But yeah, so 3 things to look for in a mentor. The first thing is they know how to make money and show signs of being profitable. Something I'm not quite sure about. It is important to have money. It is important to be able to generate it yourself, rather than just being a fundraise fucker. Nothing about these people. But I do not know if it is important for every single mentor. If somebody mentors you in terms of gardening, it doesn't pretty much matter if he's actually really rich or not, but it could say something that he is actually able to work in the economy and that his work he's just doing is appreciated by the economy or the market or other people and so on. But yeah, the second thing is they have demonstrated ambition to grow, and the third one is there is potential for in-person work. Yeah, makes sense, all those 3. But yeah. One must face the reality that attracting a mentor is a long and patient, and I've read that one. Stop looking for something you love, and I've read that one. A key mindset you need to take on is that you are filling a very real void. I have read this one as well. So 3 things you need to be ready. Actually 4, I think you need to be ready for. There's no 4, but I think should be there actually. The first one is develop and market hard skills. One way to distinguish yourself to a potential business mentor is to develop skills that will be valuable to their company. And this is also one of these sentences that I absolutely love about this book, because he actually tells about or talks about giving to the people, giving away certain things and being valuable to the person's business that you are willing to be mentored by. And this makes sense. Why the fuck would somebody just mentor you without getting anything? I understand, and there are totally people who just have the kind of a heart, but not everybody. And I think, I do not want to say, I just wanted to say in the corporate world, I think more often, but actually not. So I will shut my fucking mouth. But yeah, actually having a valuable skill for their business and actually also pointing it out for their business that you can do something for their fucking business is important and makes sense. Second one is read everything the person you're contacting has ever written and watch every video and listen to every interview and study every page of their website. Why? I think it does absolutely make sense. Why? Because this is something that I've experienced in terms of an internship interview, so quite a job interview, but for an internship. But the thing was that that people who just interview you always just ask you questions, and at my point of view, just being like, I do not have any questions, everything is okay, and so on and so on and so on, might not be the best thing. It might not be the best idea to just shut your mouth and not be too interested in what they actually are doing. And this is the point, because if you understand, which is totally a fact, that people actually like to talk about themselves, you will sorry for doing this, but I'm kind of distracting myself. Is there something going on all the fucking time? Therefore, I'm just covering myself up in terms of the actual camera that's there. But actually also a little. But what did I want to say? Yeah, because I had an interview for an internship quite lately. It was, I think, quite a month ago. Could definitely be a month ago. Yeah, I think actually. Sorry. And at the end, he asked me, if I just, want to know something and whatsoever. And then it is a really great point for you to actually be interested in what these people are doing. Whether you are or you are not doesn't quite matter. If you just need this fucking job and if you need this internship, it is definitely a great idea to just ask them, okay, why did you get this job? And I asked this owner or co-owner of an agency, design agency. I asked him why do they actually produce the logos for Red Bull, which was definitely something that I quite ask myself, like, how do they just really have the opportunity to create logos for special events for Red Bull, for such a big corporate company? It's just amazing for me. And you can definitely feel, and I think you can definitely see, that people are passionate about their own work and their own accomplishments. And then it's totally great if they just really have the connection between you and their passions, And I think this, just thinking about it right now, I have never talked about this. Actually having then the connection between what they just love to do, or what they just love as a work, or as a piece of art or work, and yourself as an interviewee, so the interviewed person, I don't know, just give a fuck, is, I think, great. It just makes sense that they will just some kind of want you more than somebody else who is not just pretty interested in what they are actually doing. But yeah, read everything. Get inside their head, regardless of the area you're looking to help someone in. You must understand their core motivation as well as the structure of their overall business. What's getting them out of bed in the morning? And this also totally makes sense. And why? I'm all saying and why. Sorry. It makes sense because actually knowing the people, especially when it's your target audience, if you're having a business, if it's your customers, just these people you're serving, just knowing what drives them, what they like, what kind of the voice they're using, what kind of words they're using, and actually doing the same thing and or just using your advertisements or your products to actually cover these things, to speak in their language, to just give a solution for what they have a problem for, to just really understand what drives them. Maybe it's just, they like the nature, therefore producing products that actually kind of not harm the nature is actually a good thing for them. And they will just buy it more than any product else that is not, not having this perk or whatever you want to call it. And then we will go ahead with 10 questions to ask yourself. And I'm gonna start right now. So the first one is, why did he or she start whatever it is they are doing? A great question, and a great question for you as well. So I think all of them are great for you as well. So not only for the people you're talking to, but in general for people and for whomever. The second one is, what are the main benefits their followers, clients, customers receive from what they do? What are their followers, clients, customers' biggest problems? What is or are the biggest frustrations of the person you're contacting in having to provide a solution? You are contacting in having to provide a solution to this. How can you help them, and where is your proof? What specifically can you help them with, and what you can not help them with? What tasty tips, information can you give them right away? Why wouldn't they want you to work for them? And what object... Do you actually see this? No, you actually can't see this. Sorry. Why wouldn't they want you to... No. Well, sure. What's tasty tips? Sorry. Why wouldn't they want you to work for them? What objections might they give? And the ninth and nearly the last one is, what is the dream of them in what they are working towards? And the last one is, lastly, what is the nightmare? And I think all these questions do have some kind of a great value to it. So if you're just rather asking yourself, or actually asking yourself in terms of asking actually other people, maybe your audience, your target audience, your customers, whatever, to actually understand them a little bit more. Like asking yourself, okay, what is their nightmare? Or what is their actual dream? What drives them? What do they want? What do they want help with? How can I help them? With what can I help them? Can I actually prove that I help them, or that I can help them? And so on. Your aim when meeting a mentor isn't to pitch them from out of nowhere. It is to build an initial level of familiarity, and if possible to get to know a member of the team and urge. I think it's encourage. It's ENTOURAGE. When you meet them, try to stand out and distinguish yourself. A safe option would be to get a small gift like a book. I'm talking about an empathetically throughout gift that will help them with a specific problem or issue. If at all possible, when you go along to meet someone, if they have people with them, friends, co-workers or family, try and get to know one or two of these people as well. In general, and this is also something that I've been talking about in the last episode as well, I kind of feel always, not that great if I'm just talking to somebody who is just having, their co-workers with or their family with or friends with, and I always only talk to this certain person. I quite feel like this is not okay. I quite feel like, okay, I do just at least have to look at the other persons while I'm talking to this one person that I actually know, because, obviously I do not know the other ones. But actually just looking a little bit on them, just having a little eye contact, or actually just afterwards shaking the hand as well, and or just, some kind of an interaction with them. Because I don't know. It's just what my feeling says. It's just what my gut says, that I actually shouldn't just, let them stand there and just do nothing. I think like this is not good. This is some kind of not what I'm looking for, quite. If at all possible, when you go along to meet someone, if they have people with them, friends, as soon as you have met someone, follow up right away with a thank you email. The aim here is to simply open a dialogue you can return to. Actually, definitely a very great point. But also you should maybe just point out a few things that you actually liked about the conversation, to actually kind of show this person that you kept, yes, yeah, sure. You kept attention to what they were saying and what you both were talking about, and actually just pointing out the things that you actually, the most liked, or what you just were passionate about, what you were talking about, actually pointing them out, recapping them, and sending them an email for like, thank you, I've been really enjoying our conversation lately, is a pretty great way to start a dialogue, and a pretty great way to show them, okay, I care about you. And I think this is one of the most important things in nowadays lives, that you actually show people that you care about them. That they are not like air for you, but you just, I quite feel like it. So if the interaction itself wasn't enough to justify such a message, reference how their work has helped you and how great it was to meet them and shake their hand. Be specific in referencing their work subtly. alluding to something that shows you have followed what they do for a long time. Totally something that is very important if you're just really sending them something, and if you're really kinda also commenting on Instagram or on any fucking other social media platform, being specific. It is important in my point of view, because by just saying, okay, this is a great shot, this is totally something every single creator out there who is actually also some kind of a participant on a website, not on a website, but on a platform, knows that there are a lot of people who do just have an automatic software that just posts to every single, post with the certain hashtag, a certain comment, like, this is a great shot, or this is a good shot, or this is a great picture, I like your colors, or some, generic shit like this. And you shouldn't do the thing, especially if you're actually just going on a post and writing something, because you would then just only waste your time. Just really commenting something meaningful, something that they can interact with, maybe a question their audience can interact with, and so on. So that you actually some kind of bring value, maybe not in terms of knowledge, which is often I quite feel like, okay, this is also pissing a lot of people on. If you just be like, I just, type something, some kind of a knowledge, which do have to do something with the post itself, but it's like, okay, you just have to do this and that and whatever, which is totally something that I see so often in the self-help space. But yeah, just being specific, being like, okay, I like the colors, I like the font, specific ones, and also in terms of like, there's something I have to think about, or I have to talk about this and that, and just, how do you think about this, and do you also think that you should actually not be doing like this, and whatever. Just something that's not generic and nothing that's quite, everybody's saying it. You want to ensure your message has gotten through, which you can do using an email tracking service like Sidekick and or MailChimp, and there are quite a lot, which is, I think, totally great, because you then just see, okay, they actually opened it and they haven't opened it, and you can have statistics. I do not know the website, I do not know Sidekick at all, but I think that will just provide you some kind of analytics as well. A short thank you note and some courtesy can go a long way. Totally. Just saying thank you. Just saying hi, goodbye, I wish you a great day, thank you for your time, whatever, does just make so much difference between the person who's actually saying it and the person who's actually not saying it. And I do not get why people just struggle with being nice sometimes, I quite always try, without being like, I'm the best or whatsoever. I'm always trying to be the nicest person that's, in terms of being empathetic. I think a lot of people just think about and talk about not being respectful with, they just tell you something. Okay, I do just have to tell you a story. So my teacher, it's an art teacher, yeah. The problem is, I'm just doing art all the time. It depends on, how you think about art and what art is for you and whatsoever. So it's an art teacher, it's a teacher at my school, and she was kind of explaining to us. No, she wasn't explaining something, but she told us to quite shut up. So she didn't say it like this, but she told us to be silent and to just really work. And then while she was talking, other people were talking, and then she said, okay, it is so unrespectful that you are just talking while I'm talking. This is just really the basics of being respectful and just being whatever. The problem with that is that she's actually the person who is just, so not grateful for everything. She's just complaining all the time, without really just fucking with her. I do not really judge her, but I do not get it. And I was just thinking about like, okay, at this certain time or at a certain moment, I was thinking like, is actually talking while another person is talking something like unrespectful? The thing is, a lot of people I know, and I understand it, a lot of people will say yes, because they've been told that it is like it is. But is it really the thing? Couldn't it be like, some people were just talking about something and didn't actually hear her? And I think there are a lot of factors. It doesn't always have to be with not being respectful. And I do not even know if this has something to do with respect, But yeah, this is something definitely complicated. yeah, I think this is it with the episode. I do quite hope that you liked the intro or outro or both actually. I do quite hope you got something out of it. I actually just went a little bit further than in the last episode, which is totally great. I do still not know if I actually should upload this episode instead of the other one, or if it actually is something additional to it. The thing is, maybe some people, it is so complicated. Maybe it's just because I do not want to. I do really don't want to delete this episode because it is work for me. It's fun for me, but there is something in it. There's my soul in it, some kinda, and I also think like, okay, if somebody's just getting some kind of a snippet out of it, that's so important for them, because actually I spoke about different things in this episode than I was speaking in this episode. So I think I'll let it be there. If there's then a reason someday in the future, I will delete it and I will say like, okay, this is actually another episode whatsoever. Maybe we'll just name it completely the same. Maybe not to just make sure, okay, people understand it and yeah. But yeah. Because actually I once had an episode before that that was just broken, and everything in terms of the audio was just some kind, and I do not understand it by now because everything should be okay. That everything was fucked, and but I actually didn't upload it because the episode itself wasn't great at all, I think, and this was something besides the whole fact that the whole recording was shit. But yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day. I wish you the best self-help, health, wealth, happiness, and success. And I'll see you the next time. And do not forget about just keeping attention to your legacy and giving away something to people for free, or just giving people something and just giving them back something, because you have gotten once a life. You have a life right now, and I think this is quite enough to be actually grateful for. Yeah, because life is actually pretty great. It is so strange. Think about this. Think about life right now. Think about yourself actually being alive right now. Okay? I'll see you.